All right, well, we're heading in a game 3 in the showdown between Fluffy Aimers and MXS. MXS to take their map pick of Breeze. I mean, Kiwi, when we looked at that first little bit, MXS running away with it, but Fluffy Aimers, they were able to make a bit of a comeback, but it wasn't quite enough to try and close it out.
And Wyatt said it perfectly in the cast. Both these teams proved why this was their map pick, because holy cow, Moist Shopify, we were ready to go to bed, which is how much they were decimating on Breeze. And Mata fully online, popping off with the op, and even Vic too had huge moments. It's amazing what happens to Moist Shopify when they actually have space to just focus on the duels and not get overwhelmed when just the attack is coming at them at all times. So huge map out of Moist Shopify, and the compositions really made a difference. There was what, like, Psycho, 3 defensive round wins total from both teams, like no defense at all.
Yeah, this was an attack-sided affair for sure. I mean, both IGLs, both attack sides coming out strong here, and we really got to see some of the nitty-gritty of the differences in the comps, right? We talked about before the map the importance of Mata getting activated with that op in his hands, and oh my gosh, once he did on T-side, it was a tear. You know, as far as T-side operator players go, he's one of the greatest to do it, and he's showing right now that, you know, he's nothing to be underestimated. So round after round, getting these openings, getting the impactful kills. But, you know, come the defensive side, Moist struggled a bit, right? And this is where we really got to see the strengths of the Aster comp on the side of these other guys shine, right? There was definitely an issue on their defensive side with not having those Cypher trips. The Odorous was absolutely activating non-stop on the lurks, and you know, that's something that if you don't have those trips to hold him accountable, that he's going to take advantage of it, right? And he was doing it over and over. But on the attack side, you see him, you know, utilizing that extra smoke to get the one-way off on bridge, really cut out these angles, get the smoke on door, allowed their team to get into the site, and that really put up a fence for MXS to have to climb over. It was something they were not used to seeing, and something that really gave them trouble.
I'm at least glad going on into this, considering it was 10-2 at the half for MXS, that we did get to see Fluffy Aimers start to pick it up once we got over to their attacking end and being able to shoot back, really showing that, hey, once we head into our map 3, this should be a great affair. But when we're looking at MXS, I mean, we got to see Mata come activated and come online here, but Vic was someone in both series, Lemon, who really got to be stepping up, and that consistency throughout, I think, is just really, really important for that side of MXS.
Yeah, Vic just has great spray chance for if he's in a 1v2, 1v3, like he's the guy most likely to pull that off, and that's why he's your MVP, and also like what, 14 first kills just out of Moist Shopify, and they really abused the fact that Fluffy Aimers didn't have a Cypher, as Psycho pointed out. They just ran it down at B so many times and just made it a one-sided affair where all they have to do is really close out, and we keep getting these fake comebacks, whatever. But we're talking, Psycho, about what they looked like on the cameras if you're Fluffy Aimers, and just how anxious things seemed being down that far, but still able to salvage a bunch of rounds and still make this look close in the end.
Yeah, I love those camera look-ins during the timeouts and being able to read the body language of the players. You could see the comfortability of MXS coming off of that really strong attacking half. You know, Mata lounging back in his chair, having a good time, possibly even taking a nap. Meanwhile, on the other side, there's a lot of neck itching, a lot of scratching the hair, hands in the air. You know, there was a clear pressure, you know, a blanket of anxiety that was laid over, you know, this team, and they, you know, the Fluffy Aimers were able to surprisingly start to mount this comeback, right? And they really got going there on the attacking half. But MXS, they got that one round, round 2, round 3, and then boom, you're on the back foot and the game's over. So a strong attacking half like that really puts you in position to close it out easily on the defense.
Hopefully, despite any anxieties, that hopefully Fluffy Aimers, given this break in between map 2 and map 3, we can start to maybe see some of that confidence that we got to see more so in map number 1, especially now headed over to Split for the decider in this series. I think this one's quite interesting when we look at both of the teams, because Fluffy Aimers, we actually haven't really gotten to see them on this pick, but it's never been something they've banned out here, Jen. It's always been either the map 3 in a series that only went 2 maps, or banned by the other team. So I'm curious what they have up their sleeve.
Yeah, Fluffy Aimers haven't played Split at all. They just don't care. It's always been a decider map, as you said, and they haven't gone that direction. Moist Shopify fans, though, Oh, tuck in, okay? Because yes, they picked this against Thinking Men, but got wrecked 13-3. If you actually watched how that map went, just Moist Shopify did not look clear-headed in decision-making, dry peeking, dropping spike at bad places, running around and expecting to hard gap Thinking Men, who were, I think, last place at the time, and just not well-paced. But then, like a week or two later, they faced YFP, and then won 13-4. So it's really hard to judge where Moist Shopify are based on two very different score lines when they go to split. So how is Moist Shopify going to do against a team that's closer to their level?
Yeah, sometimes it takes a real kick in the butt and a hard loss to really hit the drawing board on how you want to approach a map. And I'm sure that's what happened with Moist here. They lose a map that badly to a team that they know that they're that much better than. It's a really it's a morale hit. Coach was in there bringing them in for practice. Hey, we're working on split all week, right? That's just what happens. These guys are going to have to revamp the entire playbook to really get it back on track. But you saw them do that. A couple weeks later, they come back and beat YFP handedly 13-4, and clearly they got back on track. So I would expect these guys, it may not be their favorite map, but I think they're coming into this prepared, and they're going to have to come in confident, have that confidence that we saw from them on the webcams in order to take this map home.
And I know you were a big enjoyer of Astra on Breeze, so we know that Moist Shopify liked the Astra on Split, and then, it was flip-floppy last time. So do you still like the Astra on Split?
Yeah, I like the Astra on Split. It gives you a lot of opportunity to block in mid and the A choke points, B choke points without actively being there. It really gives your Sentinel player and your Viper player a lot more pressure on the CT side. It allows you to dominate the CT side a little bit more, or the defense side rather, a little bit more. So on the attack, you may lose a little bit of that aggression, the paranoia, the TP plays that you'll get with the Omen, the ability to smoke off larger areas. But I like the Astra. It's a trade-off that I think these guys have probably analyzed and said, look, we want a little bit more power on the defense, so we're going to run this Astra.
I'd be curious if we see it, or exactly where we're going to be seeing Fluffy Aimers heads at, because since we don't have the tape, this could be really anything coming out from them. But I think my biggest question when I'm looking at the end of Fluffy Aimers is Pancakes was someone that in the map one we really talked about for his excellent decision making. And I think too with MXS and a little bit of the shaky history here, Psycho, that I'd be really looking at this mid-round calling coming out to see if there's ways that they could start picking apart a team that has tape both from their good and bad days.
Yeah, it's a battle of the IGLs right now. Both teams are calling extremely well on the attack side, and it's really coming down to who is going to have the better defense against both of these great callers. So, it's anybody's game. It's up in the air, but I think not having some tape on you comes out a little bit advantageous when you're going up against a team like this who has a good coaching staff who's going to be looking for those tells in the tape and trying to give you some strategy going into this. So they're coming in with a blank slate. The reads aren't going to happen until the middle of the half, and then that's when we're going to really see it heat up and see which way this is going to lean.
I mean, for Fluffy Aimers, the team that was the clear underdog in this gen, I think that's exciting that we're getting into this map 3 situation where Pancakes, who has been putting work into this team for the entire split, and this team has been falling short a little bit under this TWT banner. It's kind of redemption arc going up against the big bad dogs that is MXS at this point.
Yeah, I mean, could this be the team that gives Moist Shopify their first loss of the whole stage? It would be insane. And I think you have to watch out for teams who make these big roster changes. And you even saw a new look out of Core yesterday, and they'll be playing today. And even for this team, to have Jonah and Bones come in and make a world of a difference is great. And especially being able to contest Mata, who's just been this feeling like an unbeatable duelist on the other side, and how important that duelist role is, especially on Split when they're the ones that have to explode onto the site. But I am favoring Moist Shopify because Brock gets to play Sky, and that's one of his best agents. And I think that can be where they stand out.
Yeah, definitely. And as you were touching on earlier, the first two maps, heavy jet maps, but this is a map where Bones is really going to be able to shine on the race. Assuming they bust out the race here, but presumably they will, and that gives Bones and his side a little bit of an advantage, I think, over Mata, who is great on both of these duelists, but seems to shine a little bit more on the jet.
I'd like to see exactly where the heads are at, but we won't have to guess any longer. Agent select is ready. I love that you called out Owns in particular, because feel Bones has been a little bit more offline during this series, so I'd love to see a map that's a little bit more comfortable with him. Get that raise out, what we see going on forward. I mean, we got all the initiators in the world for you, Jen, over on the side of Fluffy Aimers. We got the Breach and the KO.
Let's go. I know. I'm really excited. The Mata versus Bones. And I was hyped up on Bones yesterday just based on how he was moving around the map of Sunset, just satcheling in. And that's the kind of type of playstyle that Bones needs to bring for a map like Split and to learn how to shut down Mata. This is a much smaller map than Breeze, so Mata won't get to just sit back with an op and do whatever. It will be about playing around smokes or Moist Shopify. You don't want to play like you did against Thinking Men. You want to play like you did against YFP and really fully respect what Fluffy Aimers have brought to the table and not let your first series loss be at the mid-season cup.
Yeah, double initiator comp lovers rise. You know, this is your opportunity. This is an interesting comp. You know, we've seen this Breach comp a lot at all levels, and it's a much poppier comp. It's a lot faster paced. You know, it really requires a lot of coordination and doesn't leave you much option in the later round. You're really committed to a lot of the plays that you're setting up. So I would expect a lot of fast-paced set plays with this, especially with Bones in his comfort spot on the Raze versus Moist Shopify running the Viper double controller comp, which gives you a lot more opportunity to play attack rounds very slowly, really work for information, get a little bit lurky with the Viper, which you absolutely know Odorous is going to be doing, being such an active lurk player. So definitely two conflicting play styles that'll be clashing here, and we'll see who comes out on top.
I love that clash that you set up here. Both teams capable of winning, but only one can be taking that series win, moving on into the semifinals. Time to head over on to Split. So comps, Wyatt, take it away.
Split is the place that we're going, and I do genuinely love this map, but I think it is more intriguing because we haven't really seen Fluffy Aimers take this map yet so far, and I'm kind of excited to see how it's going to look like.
For sure. They have literally never played it, so we have no idea how good they are on it. That you have to take an educated guess that they at least don't suck on it because they never ban it. They've let it through in however many series they played now, like 6. They've never banned it before. It's been the third map in a few of their series, but at least a couple of them, but it's just never gone there. Those all ended up being 2-0s, either winning or losing. So we have no idea how good they are, but you have to imagine they feel at least pretty good on it, given they don't ban it. So interesting to see what they're going to be doing here and just how good their coordination will be on this map, as it was fantastic on the first, less so on the second, where MXS really thrived. And it's MXS starting on attack here, which on both maps so far, the team that started on attack ran away with the game.
Yeah, I feel like that can definitely be scary in itself too. You have a team that you've never seen play a map where you have various VODs out there. So, you know, definitely some sort of strategy that could come into it on the side of Fluffy Aimers, but more so looking to see what's going on just outside of A site, but just Cypher Util there.
Yeah, they have this trap set up in B main with the Breach, Fluffy Aimers, and they're allowing that A site to just be taken and play for retake if necessary. Jonah's getting some good info. I had no idea he was being watched by Big Brother.
And they're not going to know for quite some time. If anything, they could just be playing that retake game, but it's also so misleading as Mata going over towards B keeps this rotation from happening.
And that full push out from Fluffy Aimers catches Fly, and no smokes for an exec now. Great flick back from Mata.
Yeah, and they're just going to continue this along. Mata looking for more, and they've practiced this drill before, time and time again. They managed to get the 2, but even then 3v3 scenario, and they are going to have to still commit to that rotation. So 3 players taking in this 3v2. Otoshima ready to make sure maybe these right clicks will happen, especially now with 2 flashes already popped outward, and Otoshima coming back just in time to make sure that they can eliminate the majority. That 2-player advantage really does a lot.
Odor's carrying over that momentum from last map, where he really stepped things up on the lurking Cypher role. Struggled heavily in map 1, but has come back to life here. So a great turnaround, some good mental fortitude for sure. And MXS, again, it's a good post-plant setup that they're finding themselves in. They have excelled at that aspect of the game today.
Gonna make a difference, though. I do like the way that Cam is positioned, but I don't think they're gonna get too much, especially with the pretty close contact that Bones is looking to make. They've heard the noise being made just underneath, and they do pick one off, so big advantage, especially on the pistol round.
It's interesting to see the KO on this map. It's definitely not a commonly picked agent by any means.
Yeah.
And it seems like they've worked out some cool little pop flash setups. See where they're going to try to use the knife as well to get info. Definitely something I'll be keeping my eyes on.
Yeah, they're not giving up just yet. I had to agree, though. Like, with the KO and the Breach Initiator combination is more something I feel I wouldn't necessarily see here. It's been... I haven't necessarily seen it work, especially since it is that second round, but I'm looking forward to kind of noticing how they're going to make this work. The 1 star left available for Fly, and they're just chilling, waiting for the perfect moment to strike, especially now that Bones has had some damage made onto them, and the rotation starts to come in quickly with that 30-second mark coming down to it, and the guiding light now set down. They are not in a very good position for Neptune to try to take them out with 2 players peeking alongside, and it's Jonah to make sure that potential for a cleanup is there. But even then, you would think that they were able to take things back. There's no pickup. Maybe taking a damage off Flya, but Mame's gonna have to work very, very closely here with their teammates to make sure this works out. The Jonah making a dent into the team of MXS does not work enough.
Oh, that was so scary. So much damage done from Fluffy Aimers there as MXS kind of lose sight of where their teammates were. Getting into some awkward positions, being shot in the back. Fluffy Aimers with a good round despite being on that terrible bye. And you can see the advantage that it's garnered them here on the third. What could have been a dangerous bonus round attempt for MXS has been reduced to a pretty poor bye. The 1 Vandal in the hands of Vic carrying over those Bulldogs. A Judge as well for Mata. Could definitely see some double satchel into male Zekin type activity in the future.
This is so funny. It's just 2 ciphers. But both of them just don't know what's going on. And I guess eventually they will, but Guiding Light just set back to see what's going on inside of Ropes. Doesn't necessarily catch anything, but a jiggle peek and both now. No! Yep, and reaction time absolutely insane for Vic there.
Great entry. On the previous map, he had 5 first kills and 0 first deaths. Opens up the site once again. All the pressure on Pancakes.
No, but they're not going to make it. They just look behind and gets taken out by Mata as they reach around the side. So a good wraparound coming through from MXS. They're just looking to win this round. And if they do manage to run away with it, honestly, momentum could be there. But 1 star, still not placed just yet. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Oh, no.
There's some good retake utility here. Bones is deep into the site.
Yeah, they just found it. If anything, the flash popping down through backside definitely helped all the while as well. So the breach looking great in terms of what the defense really, really wants to achieve. But it's up to Mata now to make this happen. And the shots were there. But even then, 11 health left. And Flya's looking to make this pop down. They did have it. They had the perfect moment to utilize. I was about to say the Rolling Thunder, the stun there, but even that now, finally able to pick things back up 1-2.
And it just comes down to that plant being back sight and not tucked for heaven. Flya up there, forced to jump down, make a ton of noise, sprint towards the spike. It could have been getting stuck. Makes things incredibly awkward. But nonetheless, with the spike going down, already they were going to be able to get a buy into this. MXS, a full buy, and now definitely so with that extra cash that they've got. Full rifles, full util, only 1 light armor.
I like the work and cohesion there. So they did manage to back off. So some of that util just drained away for some inkling of damage.
Yeah, Pancakes no flashes left already, but it did get them full B main control, so MXS would have to re-clear that if they want to get in there. In reality, though, this whole time they've just been working up mid. Great first kill onto Bones. Working in defense now for this A split.
I like the partnership. They've still got something going on there. You can't really access cams either, especially with pressure being put onto Jonah. So Heaven, control could honestly be theirs at this point, just looking to make sure that once that smoke dissipates, they're going to be able to find something with it. Mame, though, can't find more than one. That's okay. MXS still making their way. Find some sort of cooperation, but they don't even check. Looking just behind them, Mata knows somebody's there. They still don't have too much Heaven control, but they're fighting for their lives left down onto site, and fluffy aimers just can't seem to fight back against MXS.
Another good site exec there from MXS, and that first kill in mid. Really nice off the smoke drop. Immediately going into that A split. Just nice and decisive from them. Gets fluffy aimers onto the eco now. Despite them having all of those ultimates. Surely not gonna throw those away here. Save them for the next full buy round. And finally now, 2 maps in a row, we're getting the MXS that we had expected. The MXS that went undefeated in the season, only dropped 2 maps. It just looks so dominant, looking like one of the favorites to win Ascension, move up to the Partnership League.
Oh my. Mata is so lucky that he still had like some sort of level of insecurity when it came to peeking the angle, but the B side is pretty out in the open for the taking, especially with Showstopper still readily available. Though Pistols, I mean, kind of just leads it into an unfortunate game or round for the side of fluffy aimers. But yeah, not feeling too confident about how things are going this round, but tons and tons of ultimates leveled up for the next one.
And Vic just got his ultimate online, so if they really want to, you could use that to get the information here. I like that MXS have slowed things down after some pressure came in on mid. And there he is, going to use it late. They know no one is on A, so those players that were rotating through spawn for MXS are just going to go as fast as possible, get into the site, even catch out Jonah. Should be an easy round win from here on out.
Yeah, especially with the amount of use Mata still has. Oh my gosh, the timing of that is crazy, but the fault line does such a great job at holding back for just a couple seconds, but I'm not really bothered by the breach here. I think so far it's been great. I'm just looking forward to seeing it when, you know, there aren't pistols involved.
Definitely, and you could definitely see the breach involved here with the Rolling Thunder operational for Neptune. All 5 ultimates here for fluffy aimers in hand.
This goes here.
MXS have the Showstopper for Mata for an explosive site exec potentially, but it's really in the hands of fluffy aimers here to get a second one on the board and stop this MXS economy from getting out of control.
Looking to reinforce some level of dominance on the defense, but they just aren't necessarily aggressive enough, and I guess that's what they want to change here, especially with Bones already pushed up towards 8, and that's great early access for information.
Doesn't actually break the trip, though, and fly in the meantime. Oh my god, he just caught Neptune walking away.
He's got it. No, he doesn't. Actually, I don't know if that was...
The patience. They have no idea.
Oh my gosh. They just, and this is huge too, because now they wrap around, they find a free 2.
And they're set up for the full B exec.
Oh my god.
Oh my
How are they just walking by? Dude.
The patience. Oh my god.
That is a well-deserved winning round. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The amount of patience that it took just waiting, and the fact that they didn't even like feel too anxious when it came down to taking out the KO, but now the Showstopper kind of set down and showing one up for itself. What is this round? Truly tell me, because I'm so confused.
Shadows traveling.
What? I don't even know how to feel about that one. 4 health left up to Mame. I wouldn't even be surprised if
if he
saw
wins this.
Dude, 360 no scope or something.
That was way too close. If he won that, that would have been the cherry on top of one of the rounds of Valorant of all time.
Oh
That
my gosh.
was... I mean, just an outrageous amount of silliness occurring in that round.
I have so
I
many...
mean, how does it even get close
Dude.
after this? Just surgical removal of those players from the site. Fly was so patient working through spawn, just trying to flank Max, and he made it happen.
Gosh, he was very close.
Oh my god. And now Fluffy Aimers, yeah, it's time to take a timeout after a round like that. We must let cooler heads prevail after one of the dumbest rounds I've ever seen.
They're also straight-faced after the monstrosity that just happened, too. It's like nothing is phased. Like, it's just another normal day.
I mean, one glimmer of hope at this point, at least for Fluffy Aimers, is that you have to imagine this composition is going to be better on the attack side. The double flashes to get into sites, you know, they're not running the Astra, which Mame was previously. He's back on the Omen, where he can be a bit more active, you know, try and TP in to get some space when the flashes are coming in, be a part of the exec and the fights more than he was on Astra, which will be important given how good his aim is right now. He's been on fire. But obviously, if they just can't rack up enough rounds on defense, it's not going to matter. That's what we've already seen on Breeze and Descent. The team on defense just cannot get enough rounds to make the comeback a reality when they play a better attack half.
Hopefully they have learned their lesson for the lurk. Never let anybody buy for free is I guess the saying we're living by now, but yeah, now everybody's just going up towards heaven to see if they can follow through the same, I guess, sort of resort as they went to last time. Oh, they don't even check down underneath, though. I'm sure they've heard the noise. Maybe not. Mata still manages to clear the angle, but even then, they're going to have to try to fight off everything and re-clear this up inside of heaven. Is it going to happen? Maybe not. Pop flash coming through, and now the guiding light making its way, and Mata finally backing off safely.
Yeah, just trying to slow things down. MXS, they don't want to give anything away, but Fly gets caught, and things are going to be awkward as they don't have smokes for the site execs, so you're going to see them favor B here, where they can work in off of that wall. If they went A, they wouldn't have been able to cover anything up. That Astra removes.
30 seconds left.
Oh, well, now they know. And this is not very good when you're looking at the probability of winning this round now, especially with the information given away, but just dropped down. Bones is not having a good day. Oh my god, actually Bones is having a great day. Mata's not having a good day, but still left up to it. 10 seconds left and absolutely nothing put down into this round. They have to try to fight for sight, 4 seconds, and absolutely nothing. So yeah, already one out by the side of the defense, just waiting it out. Dude, what is going on? What is going on?
This game has descended into madness. That Cypher ult just scrambled the brains of MXS. I mean, absolute overheat occurred where they tried to dash back to the A site. No time. I mean, poor Mata, his legs just shattered into a million pieces. These rounds are just getting out of control. Absolute silliness as Fluffy Aimers steal that one away. Just no right to do so.
Hey, but same setup as last time from MXS, kind of maybe keeping Jonah's attention led up to this. If I'm hoping this is a civil round with normal Valorant.
The wall's going to come down on A for this full exec. And it's also going to essentially turn these tripwires off from Jonah. Since you can't spam through screens, it'll be a little bit awkward, and those trips are dealt with, so we're going to be in a full retake situation. Pancakes has that null command active.
Oh, but they know, though, that Otoshima is here. That was a huge suppression on Pancakes' part, but they didn't really manage to clear. Luckily enough, actually recollecting and repositioning themselves, so they do find something with that, but already down towards backside. So many flashes just led up to this moment, and Neptune is able to keep this team alive. Oh man, it's like everyone is everywhere on the defense, and now Diffusal coming through. They haven't even really halved it yet, and there are no stars readily available, so they are going to have to try to push that potential, although there really isn't any. 3 to 5 for this team.
And that's definitely going to be one of the situations where Fluffy Aimers comp is going to thrive. A full retake like that where they can dump utility into the site. All of those breach flashes coming in. There was a paranoia and elbow from Mame as well. So much blinding utility to actually scale off of each other into the site. But it's also just Pancakes somehow winning that duel against Odorous over at ramps with the jump up on the box that made that entire thing possible. And Fluffy Aimers are crawling their way back into this game.
I'm surprised that everybody has just met in mid. Like, this is the perfect division of people. B to A. And mid. Now Pancakes. Oh my gosh, so many flashes. And they flash themselves! So it doesn't even matter. And my gosh. Pop flash moving forward. Breach util. They're doing everything they can to really keep this team back, but they end up getting caught in the crossfire. They're still waiting inside of smoke, and this is perfect. The timing of just watching Flya walk into the smoke is immense.
Yeah, Flya taking a big risk there and getting punished. Jonah playing passive backside. He knows someone could be lurking their way in. It's totally possible. Loader's just ducking for cover. Might be able to find the big flank timing.
Yeah, luckily enough. Still keeping their ground in mid, which I do like. There was such heavy presence there. Weren't surprised somebody else was there as well, but still keeping down to the back of sight, and now the spike in the hands of Fluffy Aimers. Yeah, they close things off in a flawless round.
Huge recovery right now into the half. And assuming that they will be strong on the attack side with this composition, you have to imagine they don't even need to run away with this half. Just getting, 5 on the board might be enough if they're just going to be doing some strong big execs, dumping utility into the defenders. So many flashes to work with that I kind of feel like these rounds are actually more important for MXS than Fluffy Aimers. But, on the inverse, this MXS comp should be pretty strong on defense. They've got the Cypher, the Astra. That's a lot of stopping power that they have to shut down chokes, make execs really uncomfortable when you have to deal with all of that utility that bogs you down. So far, though, definitely impressed with how Fluffy Aimers have been able to begin recovering this half, and it's come down to their ability to control mid and cycle flashes one after another.
Yeah.
Just keeps MXS in this awkward position where they don't know when they're suddenly going to be popped out on.
It is interesting too, like with the point that you made as well. They're using so much util that feels so unnecessary as well, because we did see like blinds coming through where Pancakes and Neptune managed to blind themselves, right? And even then, one pop flash from Pancakes would have done the job, and then co-peeking and being able to clear the angle would have been great. So definitely overusage of the util as well. But
we're gonna get that fast B main take from the Fluffy Aimers, so Bones can get the showstopper online. Which will be a nice tool if they end up being in a full retake situation, which might happen, save for Pancakes being stuck back sight. He's going to have to get at least one here. But the rest of this, he might be in position to flood. Mata flanking!
Dude, they had to have known that this was happening, but I guess not. Now Phantom in the hands. Oh no, and Mummy definitely thinks that they're fighting this a bit closer up. But they still have their cautions. They make sure they keep themselves well prepared, but now smoke settled down, and Mambe not going to really place anything just yet, keeping the paranoia for when the retake happens.
With Bones down, they're not going to have the showstopper available. Mummy with a great first kill. Can he survive, though? Yes. Good TP away. Man advantage now on the retake for Fluffy Aimers.
They're going to have to wrap around. And sitting up above, this might be the play, especially now with suppression making its way. They realize they have managed to pick off the 3, so there's no util they can use at this moment, just the aim itself, and they can't find anything. And Mambe with a 3K to make sure this team stays alive, but it's one more for Odashima to make sure that MXS are still in the game, though left up to the 2. And Pancakes with a pop flash that does seem to get the both of them. They just ring around the rosy, dude. Like, what is going on? Give them some room. And all they have to do is just play with the mental at this point. Knowing Pancakes isn't going to commit to it, it's Brock to clear things up.
That's just so disciplined from the last two players. You love to see it, not taking any risks. But that being said, they do die in the end, which is actually not good, because if they lose this round, they'll be on a really bad bye for the last. So actually, massive impact from the spike going off at the very end, which gives Fluffy Aimers a real opportunity to get to 6 if they can take this one here. Mod is one off of his showstopper as well, so we'll see if they try to get that orb collected on the A side for him. There's a bit of a distraction with that Viper Cloud going towards B, the wall up there as well, just going to try to draw some attention.
Taking that back.
Yeah, but they've held out just long enough to make MXS have to figure out a play for this round. But there's keeping Pancakes in a pretty unfortunate position, but a huge pot flash moving forward. And you already have everybody on this team. I mean, kind of just hoping they had something to play with. Flyer already down, and now MXS in a pretty uncomfortable position, but still having the A site for the taking.
We're going to be in a big retake situation. Bones with a showstopper active. So many flashes for re-clearing here.
Yeah, they've settled that one. Yeah, but Bones is going to settle one of their own. Still, especially having that showstopper to kind of clear one. It's the controller and the initiator down. All they really have to play with it is possibly Odashima's utility, but there's nothing really there. Even then, so much damage already made off of the side of Fluffy Aimers, and Mommy does not miss the shots. 22 health left, and a dream that just gets broken.
Who is this guy? How does he win both of those? That is outrageous. They had the spike planted for Heaven. They're doubled up. I mean, the first fight, I guess, but the wide swing to win the second? Oh my god. That is so ridiculous. I mean, how does he get... That is so crazy that he gets that second kill. I can't believe that. Luckily for MXS, though, with the spike down, that's going to get them some more cash to play with. So this last round bye is not as bad as it could have been. Not going to be as detrimental to their potential success as it could have been.
Okay, well, another day, another dollar. That's exactly what Bones lives by. And I guess the shots honestly just find themselves at this point. But the drone, not drone, my apologies, the Boombot gonna make its way. Still listening into some of the noise, but keeping some of these players pretty preoccupied on that A site.
And it's going to be Mata down, the entry man for Moist Shopify. Going to be tough for them to get space into the site when they go for an exec. So perhaps we'll just see them slow things down and try and work off this wall in B main. Play a bit more silently here.
And they keep the silence, but at the same time, they're still making sure that they don't really need to peek the angle or give themselves away too much. Oh, but there's two players just settled up in Heaven, and this is going to be perfect if they manage to time it well. Jonah might just be able to find the information before it finds itself, but even then, it's up to Bones to now take things back. But one more player, two players actually, that aren't even close to the site, and they're just trying to hold off just long enough. The peek comes through, and Odashima finds himself taken out of the game. And it's over. A beautiful round for Fluffy Aimer.
Such a sick satchel from Bones, just to knock him out to get that fight.
Yeah.
What a round from him. I mean, I thought things were going to get boomed because Fluffy Aimers forgot that Heaven existed. There was someone just shooting the Bulldog in main, so there were no eyes on Heaven. I mean, that could have been... How is that a headshot? This map has just been offering up some nonsense. Like, how does he get that running headshot? That is so stupid.
This whole game has just been...
It has been...
luck, and I'm not... You know what? No, it's skill. This is pure skill.
Yeah, that was definitely the skill shot from Bones. You'll love to see that kind of activity. Oh my god. All right, 6-6. Easily the closest half we've had so far in this series. On the third map, We've never seen Fluffy Aimers play it before, but right now they're looking solid with this unorthodox comp.
Yeah, lives already ended, but okay, huge. I honestly surprised that Otoshima didn't really catch out on that, but regardless, the right click seemed to work for Pancakes, and now all they need to do is push this one up and make sure Neptune is right behind. And Fluffy Aimers looking to win maybe just another pistol round. I mean, they still do have Mummy alive, and it seems like the shots are in fact connecting. And for a player like that one, you gotta be scared.
Spike planted.
Now Neptune double flash to play with in the post plant here as well. They know there's one player coming from B main. How are Fluffy Aimers going to set up here? It's a little bit awkward. They're going to have to take fights on two different sides of the map.
Player standing.
I love that. Great double swing to just shut that player down in B main.
We got another player to shut down though. Contact being made, but Brock does not clear. Never mind, they do. They clear the possible next. Well, maybe they don't. Fault line coming out just in time to help out Jonah.
Fluffy Aimers, they've been clawing at it, and they've taken the lead in the game now on split. Despite that first player for the Aimers going down. Just great play over towards the B side. Now we'll see what MXS with this pretty solid defensive comp can get done here. They've got a lot of agents that can really shut down choke points. It's going to be tough for Fluffy Aimers to deal with, though, you know, conversely, they have so much attacking power, so many flashes to try and burst out of smokes and get out of choke points.
Here.
Oh, but that's great. You at least know majority of these players are surrounding Garage. They have taken out the cam, so they can't necessarily play off that info anymore. MXS kind of giving themselves not a lot of leeway here. I mean, if anything, especially now with the pop flash leading down towards the back, Flya trying to find and fight for the site. Now big rotation just has to come along for MXS.
Things have definitely gotten a bit awkward. Brock only has a Bucky though, so it's going to be tough to get in a position where he can actually make that a valuable weapon to have in his hands. Very passive here from Fluffy Aimers. I like this setup. They've got the spike planted for a B main. They've got eyes on it. Neptune watching the flank.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, Mummy's just not really giving anybody space to do anything. Shots fired. And now, yeah, especially with the util just set aside, they still do have the aftershock as well. So even then, if that didn't work out, like something was.
Well, listen, Pancakes definitely takes those. Gets himself a nice little orb at the very end. Just +1 for the ult point there. All right, and now MXS, pressure on. This is going to be their full buy. They've all got half armors. The economy, definitely a bit awkward. Brock doesn't actually have a dog to play with here. And he's maxed bought out, so they're going to be a little bit info-starved in that regard. Fast, a main take here for Bones.
And they just continue to move forward. That's a huge snake bite just to deny any sort of space that's trying to be taken up inside of Heaven. Now that kind of leads these players to wanting more, though. They are able to kind of retract themselves, go back around towards mid. Fluffy Aimers definitely thinking ahead of this squad, but MXS stuck around the back, Flya not really having anything to play with other than the fact that they can isolate these fights. Brock is there alongside Flya. And now you just lost majority of your team. You got this weird compacted two-player group just running around taking everybody out. And you have to find a way for redemption. But even then, is it really possible for Jonah? Somebody holding the angle the moment that Jonah peeks, but he's in such a good position. It doesn't matter. Brock is there watching alongside the util.
MXS played to their win con so well there. If they were off-site, they're never going to get that retake in a 3v5.
Yeah.
Basically impossible. They'd be forced to save. They understand the weight of winning that round, and their only win con was to anchor the site together, play a crossfire, win the duels. They did exactly that, and they top it off with that little double peek at the end to get another kill in B main. fantastic recovery in the round from them. They played it bold, but they definitely played it right.
Oh my gosh. Never in a million years did I think that that would, I mean, keep itself to that regard. That was a beautiful hold from Flya. Even then, I mean, great reaction time as well. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike, but they have taken down the duelist. Now Bones not really leading in the pack. There has to be another way.
Yeah, never in a million years that I think we'd be on map 3, Fluffy Aimers versus the undefeated Moist Shopify team after Fluffy Aimers just switched up their roster.
Valid.
I mean, we are in a pretty crazy scenario right now. Not what anyone would have predicted. Things are going to be tied up. And this is the closest map we've had in this series by far. It's only right that it's the third one.
I'm 8-8. I'm back and forth. Like, man, I don't even know like where this goes. Sometimes I feel like I'm watching deathmatch. It's just
at times it has definitely been that. There's been a nice mix of great team play and absolute silliness. In this round, though, I'm looking at 3 players, Neptune, excuse me, and or 2 rather, Brock. Both of them are 1 away from their orbs here. Both ultimates would be really important right now. For MXS, if they win this round, they're going to break the economy of Fluffy Aimers. And obviously for Fluffy Aimers, if they get their economy broken, this game is slipping away.
Cage triggered.
They do have smoke set up just kind of on the outskirts of A. So even then, Viper could set that up and set up Brock for success, especially with some sort of decay, but the cam is caught off Jonah. And now their plan, honestly, does backfire. They have huge info gather, especially leading up towards whatever's going on in Heaven. Now a spray down to come through and so much util just preoccupying the space with the fault line to take back whatever's going on A, and it's up to Vic to try to create some sort of hero situation, but it's not there. Now a pop flash to make sure that this can happen, but it's Mata that sits just aside, and they fight together just on the extremities of the wall, and it won't be it. They're trying their best, but it's Jonah. And he manages to find a way to make it happen. 2v2 scenario. Notice Shima just wants to peek. They know where they are, regardless of the situation. But the TP down towards B is perfect for, I guess, the scenario we're in right now.
Oh, what a shot from Jonah. Again, this game is goddamn chaos. And Mummy and Jonah, great positioning here too. They're going to double set up in Heaven. The spike is planted for them. And in fact, they're probably just going to hear Flya just running his little legs up here. Yeah, he's going to get shut down immediately. I mean, you can't even, you know, the world's top Valorant analyst could not even attempt to there's not even any purpose in trying to break down what the hell just happened on the A side around that wall. That was, we're silly maxing. It's just, the game has gotten out of hand.
There was no, like, I don't even know. Like, I think it's so intriguing that they just chose to wide swing a wall with a tight corner. Even then, I mean, it could have definitely worked, but they did use some util. Now moving into this round, I guess Fault Line definitely trying to do something, but it doesn't matter. The util doesn't matter, and it never will. I mean, at this point, Brock is still hiding in the corner, and they still manage to find 2. The spike is there into their own hands, and they still have so much util to utilize for this moment. The stun comes through, and they're adding on to the pain and the pressure. I feel like I'm getting bullied, and I'm watching.
The poor Bones just got bogged. I mean, like every piece of utility that could possibly stun him just dumped onto his poor little head. Oh my god. And a lot of that was made possible too because Mana just pushed out a B right away, so MXS just immediately were favoring the A side, tying the game up, and now sending Fluffy Aimers onto a bad buy.
This is
Never
what
hurts when you get random spam too.
This is what I feel like a nightmare would be, and I haven't had one in so long. It's so like, and it's so hard for both of these teams because you can tell they're trying with everything they have in their power, but it's like the timing of like the amount of util just popping out is just so oddly perfectly placed.
Yeah, me when I have sleep paralysis, but it's a fault line, a grab well, a dog jumping on me. This Fluffy Aimers trying to work up mid now. Getting some space.
My camera is destroyed. Here.
So much pressure on these two teams. Fluffy Aimers on the cusp of their best win as a team so far. A massive win for this new roster. They brought in 2 players from YFP that look really comfortable here in this team. And of course for MXS, the massive favorites. To go out in their first game of the playoffs would be so unexpected and such a travesty for them.
Yeah, and they get so much space that it's just like, it should be unforgivable, but there's no punishment for it. Like, they already pushed up so far, and at this point, all you really have to do is hold. You have no angle hold. You have to use maybe some of that util mana trying to come around the flank, but maybe just a bit too late. Again, timing of the essence here, and they could go for a semi-rotation, just moving back around towards A. But could get caught up by Brock as well. Paint show readily available by Mata. They know where they are, and they are going to back themselves off just in enough time to reach Brock. Possibility there. Maybe not.
Bones recovering that Vandal at least. Gonna take point.
Cage triggered.
Yeah, they're trying their absolute best with what's being given to them, but there is a guiding light to use, but I do like the cohesion there. Is going to use a gravitational pull to give Brock some leeway.
Yeah, that's a great call right there from Brock, I imagine, calling for that piece of utility. Really heads up and perfectly timed from Flya across the map. Fluffy Aimers with a well-timed timeout here.
Yeah.
Once again, economy is going to be on the line for them. This is an absolute must-win round. If they don't win here, the victory for MXS is almost a certainty. And it would just be so painful for them to have made such a close effort against one of our best challengers teams, only to have to sit around and wait for the next stage to come.
Yeah. It's... Especially, like, if you're MXS, you definitely don't want to lose that title. Like, you're coming from being the best and not losing a series. And then losing against a team that you literally dominated 2-0 in such a great fashion, especially, Jonah and Bones, who had previously played on YFP. You had taken that team by stride as well. So it's almost as though, like, it's quite difficult to really take this in as well. But definitely fighting for some sort of top dog stance on both of these ends.
Right now in mid, Odorous has that Viper's Pit online. Could certainly pop it to just lock down mid if he chooses to do so.
Mm-hmm.
While the rest of those players on A for MXS pushed up just a bit. We'll see if they try to push any further, and it's the opposite side of the map where Fluffy Aimers have taken the space. B main under their control.
Everybody makes so much noise. Just trying to see what's going on here. Luckily enough, it's one player given out to the open, but so much util settled down in mid to try to pause this. But it's perfect timing too, because they did actually shut this down quite early.
So a deep trip from Vic did get destroyed. So they know at least that Cypher is over towards the A side. Pit is actually going to go down for B main late into the round. Bones was here, and it seemed like perhaps the team was going to go for a B split, but due to that Pit, the idea has been canceled, and now they're going to slowly make their way towards A instead.
30 seconds left.
The cam isn't really... I love how he just he denies the flash with the cam to see what's going on, but Vic is just stuck behind Insane, trying to redeem themselves. Even then, Showstopper managing to pick out some sort of, I guess, diversion coming through from the side of MXS, but regardless, it doesn't work. Majority of the players of Fluffy AM are still trying to keep themselves intact, but it's a 2v3 situation, and they do manage to find themselves in a difficult position. 3K from Mummy, and this guy is a god. He will not give this game up. Oh my gosh. It's not over. Vic is still left alive. But you have somebody sitting on the back of site that literally took majority of your team out. And now you have to find a way to bring this game back. Is it possible? Maybe so. The cam has been set up. And this is something they can absolutely use for this round. They hear the shots being made, but the TP potential there, and Vic knows that they're slowly rotating around. But is it enough information? They don't know where they are. They're trying their absolute best, and now they know they need to get it half off before anything else happens. But potential for Pancakes to take this away is there. The left-hand side is watched, and it's a win by Vic.
0.34. I mean, that is about as close as when the spike got planted. Oh my god. What a round finish. I thought once again, somehow, Mame, just the hero for the team, when they were trying to get the spike down with basically no time, somehow protecting the planter, gets 2, only for Vic to clutch. Oh my god, this game has gotten so wild, and again, luckily because of that plant, Fluffy Aimers, their bank is good enough for a reasonable buy now.
Wow. I don't even care if they had, like, if Jonah was eliminated. They did, my apologies if Mana was eliminated. They did a tremendous job just getting that damage for that 2-player takedown. Now they're just kind of sitting around with Spike. Mummy's like, what do I do?
Totally cut noise here, Fluffy Aimers. But there's really no reason for MXS to fall too far. Or rather to like actually fight close, excuse me, because they can just play for the retake with the man advantage, so they can fall off, is what I was trying to get at. It's just not that important. They have the cam to watch. Hey, Heaven, Brock is just going to jiggle screens. They can just play this safe and try and close the game out in a textbook fashion.
There's been a huge level of repetition of back and forth when it comes down to the scoreline, so MXS definitely looking to close that out as quick as possible. Oh my god, dude, Brock
30
is
seconds left.
just shots just connecting, everything looking perfect. Now listen, we've seen Mummy play before, and if it's anybody that can clutch up a round, honestly, I'm not even gonna lie, it could possibly be them. But yeah, time definitely not looking too great or grand right now, backing themselves off instead to keep the rifle in their hand.
Just going to end up saving for what might be Fluffy Aimers' final round here in the mid-season tournament.
Yeah.
They've been incredibly impressive. Would have never thought. Mean, listen, I don't think anyone would have thought that they would be potentially upsetting MXS, an undefeated team during the season, and yet here they are. They are so close to doing it, but it feels like at the final moment it's just going to slip away. MXS are just too experienced. They've been in so many close series like this against great teams before, and they've been able to close those games out, and it really does look like that's going to happen again here, unless Fluffy Aimers can really come alive at the last second.
Looking to push that fault line down in mid, but I guess timing it with the dissipation of the smoke.
Here.
You can kind of see they're expecting it as well. I'm assuming if maybe Mana is waiting to prep that paint shell too. And huge potential for information, especially with the boombot settled down, but maybe they might just be able to find it. Sprays come down, and they were close to picking one off. But Pancakes finds one. That's a huge initiation coming down to the side of Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, that's just some counter spam that comes in, and right now Jonah is rotating through Stewart because he has his ultimate active. Gonna throw that onto the body, get massive
I know
information.
exactly where you are.
Yeah, looking for what site has their best interest in mind. Might just be the A site, but Odashima does not know somebody's just looking right on the left-hand side. But the reaction time is there, and now they continue to fight things off. They know 30 seconds left. And waiting for Fly to make their mark, especially with playing with the team there, but it doesn't matter. 2 players on the side of Fluffy Aimers managed to bring the site back into their own hands.
Those fights just getting so awkward. Sprays going awry for MXS. Could certainly see them clutch up here. Would not be the first time they've done it, but Neptune going to take down the clutch king, Brock. Usually the one to step up in those situations. But it's not over yet. Fluffy Aimers able to get one on the board after 4 straight losses from that early pick in mid, and the information garnered from the Cypher ultimate.
Match point is not an easy position to be in, and I give kudos for Fluffy Aimers for fighting so hard.
Yes.
1 round 1, and another 2 now needed to be put in their pockets, but
There.
I mean, what's the possibility for that? We're just gonna have to see. Hopefully,
If Fluffy Aimers can take B main control here, they'll be able to get the Rolling Thunder for Neptune. They could also get 1 orb for Pancakes and get a null command.
Right there.
Close to 2 very big ultimates here.
Enemy punch.
oh,
I mean, how many kills through smoke are they going to get? Playa again. I mean, they have gotten several at this point. It's just got to be so frustrating for Fluffy Aimers. Their entry player down as well.
oh, and they're just gonna use ult here. Timing, not that bad though. Might just be able to catch out 2. No, they've only caught out 1, and at this point they don't even know Fly is surrounding the back, and they find 3 needed to give MXS the victory to close things off 2-1. The most dominant team are going to continue to keep that title.
It was an impressive showing from Fluffy Aimers, to be sure. And listen, I'm excited to see more of them when we get to the next stage, because certainly promising. It's been a great debut with their new roster, bringing in Bones and Jonah from YFP. But at the end of the day, MXS are so experienced in close games like this, closing out big games. They've played so many series together at this point, and so being in a situation like that just doesn't get to them at all. There's no nerves there. Really impressive on those second 2 maps. Breeze, definitely their home ground, and on Split, just looking solid on both halves respectively. They played very well. So getting what we expect from MXS at the end of that series for the last 2 maps.
MXS, honestly, I'm just gonna say this game in particular was interesting to say the least. I feel like we definitely saw
chaos.
Probably one of the most exciting games that we've received so far, but there's a lot more games coming up for you guys. I do, though, want to hear what the analyst has to say about this game. We'll throw it right back to you guys.
Thank you so much. Interesting was definitely a great way to be putting it. I'm glad that we got to see a little bit of everything here. When I look back to key moments of the maps, like I'm thinking of this A wall and the shenanigans around that.
Man.
I'm thinking of Fly's lurk all the way from A heaven over to B. But hey, amidst the chaos, MXS take the win.
That's right. I mean, it was scrappy. There was a lot of back and forth, but MXS were able to edge that out towards the end. I mean, this is kind of what we expected, seeing these 2 comps clash, right? MXS taking a much slower approach on the T side, a lot of lurking around. You see Flya here, able to slice right up through mid, get the backstab, good crosshair control there. Get a little 3K, close out that round. A lot of, hitting with 20, 30 seconds left in the round. Very slow, methodical play from them. On the other side of things, the breach comp on Fluffy here. A lot of popping, a lot of explosive plays, a lot of leaning towards B. That's okay. We'll explode back here onto A, like on this round. Retaking the site pretty effectively. A little bit of shenanigans, but it looked good for them. I really enjoyed that round with the wall shenanigans.
I just enjoyed the series overall. The fact that we were just like this close, it was so back and forth. We almost had Shopify not go past the quarterfinals after supposedly being the #1. This shows really how beatable they could be. And to like dive deeper into that compositional difference, it was cool to see the breach on offense from Fluffy Aimers to take that A-ramp control. You know, we weren't sure how this was going to be executed, not being as common of a pick. Then you had the KO being used instead of the Viper, which was, I guess, to hopefully disable some Cypher util there, but it wasn't helping as much on defense. I think Fluffy Aimers not having the Viper really hurt their stall potential on that defense. But then you had the Astra from Flya, so helpful with the Grav Wells, the Nova Pulses to close out these rounds on defense, to slow down the entries, especially on A, to secure the kills on the power positions. It was just incredible to see Moist Shopify really flourish in a hectic scenario with how close this final game was.
100%. And with that, they'll be able to keep their winning record and keep moving on within the mid-season cup. So I do want to give Fluffy Aimers props for what they were able to accomplish. I mean, Psycho, this was a team that had 2 roster changes coming into the cup. They did not have much time to prepare things. And to have a performance like this against the team that is being hailed as the top team and players that are very capable of stepping up makes me really excited to see how stage 2 is going to pan out for Fluffy. 2
roster changes, very little time to practice, and you're going up against the Juggernaut, right? The only team that's gone the whole season undefeated, and you're expected to overcome them in a single elimination bracket. You know, that's a tough challenge, right? And I think Fluffy Aimers stepped up to that challenge admirably. I think with a little bit more practice, this is the team that, you know, could even surpass Moist the next time these teams match up against each other. So I'm really excited to see what they can provide for us going into stage 2. It's sad to see them go here, but excited for the future.
That saying that maybe they could take them down next time would have been a bold claim at the beginning of things, but after this 3-map series, honestly, I definitely believe that there is definitely that capability. Jen, you said that at one point that you wanted to see a little bit more out of Brock, and I'm glad that you got to see a lot more from Brock once we got over to Split. Smiles over there.
Yes.
Saw the big Brock.
Big Brock! We love to see it. Sometimes with the at least that was more on the other map. But yeah, just the fact that this was a 6-6 defense, which is how heavy defense-sided Split can be, as Psycho said. Just to try and salvage that. Hey, we were entertained. We got absolute chaos. The casters were laughing their butts off, and that's just what Challengers is all about, scrapping your way through. I don't think there's a clear favorite in this tournament. You know, Moist Shopify, they move on, but it provides for just an exciting field of competition, of being able to pick up the best pieces of maybe teams that didn't really fully develop, like YFP, taking Bones and Jonah and making just an improved roster. Fluffy Aimers was awesome to see. Sucks them being cut short, as Psycho said, but looking forward to the future for them.
I mean, you're saying that going on, there's clear favorites, but if this match has showed us anything, it shows that truly expect the unexpected here in the mid-season cup. We're going to be having an interview with MXS shortly, but first, enjoy our post-series highlights. We'll be right back.
Variable.
One enemy remaining.
Unimportant.
Grounded.
Any angle.
Enemy kill.
One enemy remaining.
One down.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
See ya.
One enemy.
Downwind. Pull back. Blinded.
One enemy remain. One enemy remain.
Was such a fun series to be kicking off our day, and it's going to be MXS to take the series 2-1 over Fluffy Aimers. And on the line, I have Flya to talk a little bit more about the match. First off, I have to say congratulations on the victory as well. Moving on to fight another day here in the Mid-Season Cup. That was a little bit of a chaotic series. How are you feeling after that set?
What's up? Can you hear me? My mic good?
I can hear you. Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, of course. Okay. Yeah, it was, I mean, not the cleanest win. We're not very, extremely happy about it, but a win is a win. And, yeah, I mean, just got to clean up and figure out how we messed up, and we'll be good for Friday, or Saturday.
When you're talking about not the cleanest and things kind of going wrong, is there any insight already that you think maybe where things could have fallen apart, or you think this needs to be a little bit more studied, VOD review with the team a bit later on?
Yeah, we're gonna VOD review tonight and figure out all the kinks and stuff like that. I think after not playing a match for a while, getting back into it after playing ranked and scrims all the time. Personally, for me, I feel like I was over fighting or like not playing to win the round and playing to kill people. So that always, I feel like that happens with not enough time played in matches. So for me personally, I'm gonna calm it down, and I think in terms of like the prep and especially our defensive sides, we lacked a little bit in understanding the prep and also in being able to adapt on our CT, but we got it done. So, and we know how to fix that easily, so it'll be good.
I'm glad to hear that you definitely know how to be fixing that going on forward. I want to talk about that final map first off, because that was absolutely incredible. First, I want to talk about this one round coming out from you, this round 5, where you follow Neptune all the way from A Heaven, go all the way out onto the B site. You're just like serious faced on the cameras afterwards. Did you felt like going into that, like that was a huge risky play, or did you just felt so confident that you could sneak up and take them down?
I was pretty confident because they put a trip, like I don't know if people know, but like a Cypher trip in mid on like the box that's unbreakable, and we dogged it, and I just walked right through, and then I mean I saw his head on Heaven, and I knew that they were just gonna rotate off. There was no way they knew that I could be there at all, so I just took the gamble that they were not going to have their guns out or be anywhere near respawn, and I just followed them all the way. And good thing my team was already B-man, so we just easily could just plan around it. I didn't have to think too hard about it.
I mean, it definitely led to some fun viewing for us over on our ends, and really, really good stuff to see coming out from the team. Split in general is just kind of chaotic all around with like that one wall over on A down to that moment. In amongst all that chaos, where do you as IGL manage to find these calls where your team can start to creep ahead? Because that scoreline ended up being pretty tight.
In terms of defense side, I don't feel like I call like a lot. I feel like we all have our own voice. So defense is more so, just all of us working together. On attack, I think I definitely have my ups and downs. I, just getting better every day pretty much, and I'm figuring out what I like doing. And I think it's just being able to maintain it and always have the, consistency of calling good. But as an IGL, I mean, in terms of split, I think that it just requires a certain play style, depending on the comp you play. I think that split is one of the maps where it depends a lot on your comp and the other team's comp. It's not like Ascent, for example. I think that there's a lot of prep and playing that goes into it on both sides. And as long as you know the counters and you're comfortable and your players, obviously it's a big fight map. Your players can win your fights. It's going to go your way.
I mean, congratulations on being able to win those fights, win the map, and take the series and move on into the semifinals. I want to make sure that was a long series, that you get some rest. So, Flya, thank you so much for chatting with me. Have a good rest of your night. Best luck in your matchup, okay?
Thank you.
As for us, great series to be kicking off our day, but we still have one more. It's going to be Core going up against Oxygen after the break.
They say in life, there are no guarantees. They say a lot of stuff like that. Slow it down. Play it safe. Hedge your bets. So what? You gonna listen to that? You gonna stop because they can't guarantee you'll pull this off? No guarantee you'll win? No guarantee everything's gonna be fine? life, you make your own guarantees. Nobody else will light your way. Start your own fire and keep it burning. And we guarantee you'll have one hell of a lifetime.